Are we live? Can everybody see us? Hello, hello. I'm just waiting to see in the chat. Just give us like a oorah, I guess, if you see us.
You told us we weren't allowed to talk until you did your thing, so we're just being
Yeah,
quiet.
yeah. I mean, I still gotta check if everybody can see us. Oh, okay, we're good. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to our June, July live Q&A. We had to postpone a little bit. Wow, we have 120 people here. It's like very exciting. Hope you came with questions. This time we have a bit of a different setup. It's me, Astraea, your community manager, and I'm here with the project lead PMO, and we have a special guest today. We have the lead game designer, Chaz. So I guess if you guys want to say hello, now you can talk.
Thanks.
Hello again. How's everybody doing out there in Troopers Land?
Yeah,
Good, I hope.
they're embracing the carnage, hopefully.
Well, it's the 4th of July in the U.S., so if you're in the U.S., they're pausing
Sure.
their celebrations to come and chat with us, so that's very appreciative.
Troopers over holiday.
Hopefully playing Troopers during the holiday.
So I guess we can get into it. I already see people posting a bunch of questions. Some of these are pretty big too, but I guess we go for some Discord ones. We'll start it there.
Oh, we're straight into the questions already?
Yeah, we're just gonna dive into it.
Oh,
I
wow.
think that's
Yeah,
what people are here for.
Let's
go.
do it.
That
Yeah,
and some slips, I guess. But
we'll figure it out as we go, right?
yeah,
Like this live Q&A.
improvise. Let's just dive into it. Yeah. So I guess one of the first questions has been a very, very big ask questions throughout the Discord. It's about limb dismemberment. When is the limb dismemberment system going to be added to bugs and other things?
Oh, well, I can step into that one right away. That's a great question. We want it to, I think I've answered this a little bit before when it was brought up. It will be added in the game when we figure out how to add it in a way that makes sense for the game, makes sense for the gameplay, doesn't distract from the overall experience. Those things, we are in active discussions about it. It's a system we want to make sure feels right. It's a lot like the Carnage system, right? We took our time with that. We wanted to make sure that was done to our liking and it didn't impact the game in a negative way. I think Carnage only impacted the game in positive ways. So, yeah, we are talking about it.
Yeah, we see a lot of people enjoying Carnage in the chat. Gyrion. Carnage changed the game. Had to dig myself out of the ground a few times.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, what do you guys think of Carnage? I mean, Carnage is it's pretty impactful, right?
I'd like to hear the feedback. I've seen a lot of positive feedback. I've seen a lot of cool photos of people exploding piles of bugs. It's very exciting.
I'm not sure if Chaz, do you have anything to add on the bug dismemberment? It's pretty much in your area to solve.
Yeah, it's going to be great once we get to it. It's going to be amazing. I love the idea of just blowing limbs off the things and just having them like hobbling around, and yeah, that'd be amazing. Bringing that into the Carnage system in general, and just seeing like limb dismemberment, have limbs fall over the floor, all that kind of stuff will be great. And like no one else is doing it, so it's we got to do it.
Oh yeah. I'd love to see the bugs go into death throws. I think
100%.
I think we're looking to continue to work on that system. It's our own little in-house thing that the development team's a little baby that we're gonna nurture. But it's glad to see so many people embrace the whole chaos of it all. Yeah. Let's see, what else? What other questions do we have? Oh, this one, I guess, for the community, I've been asked about this a lot. It's about game pads and controllers. Is there any plans to allow custom button assignments for controller players?
Custom button assignments, great question. So first of all, big apologies to the community for kind of dodging the console question over the last 4 or 5 months. That's all on me. We just wasn't in a position that we could share any console conversations at the time. So we are going to console, which is huge, right? This is the first time we're actually talking to the community about it. Let us know what you think. Going to console, expanding our audience by we have PC now. We're bringing in two other huge audiences to the game. Right now, there's 0 plans on console to allow customizable button combinations for the controller. We're in turn just focusing on making sure the control set is as good as we want it to be and is designed. On the PC side, where we have full customization on keyboard layout and such like that, we're not saying no to that on the PC side, but really right now we're focused in other areas with higher priorities than that.
Yeah. All that console secrecy was
It
quite a
was
fun time.
Yeah, it was challenging for me, especially, right? Getting that question asked on every time I was in front of the people were asking me about that. But that's something that we just couldn't share publicly.
Yeah. I always feel bad when someone asks me, but that whole point 8 reveal and everything at IGN Live,
Yeah.
it was very exciting to see the screaming within Discord and everything.
Yeah,
But
and I just want to be clear too, because we keep getting this asked, so maybe we need a better job of communicating out. We do have full crossplay with console and PC. So, I think we need to get a biplane going through with a massive banner on the back. Troopers will have crossplay, not cross save or cross progression, just crossplay. So, that was the big reason why we wanted to. We want to make sure the community always had tons of players to play with, right?
yeah,
So yeah.
part of a fire team is the whole experience, 16 players.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw something. Oh, it was. Oh man, I just missed it. Okay, I guess I'll just continue to another question until I see it pop up again. This one comes from Kruger. During development, did the team ever consider a more terrorizing approach to the game? How does the team, or has the team ever considered leaning into making the bugs, maps, and other things more horror-like and to embrace and give the players a more uneasy feeling?
I think say absolutely. We have to stay true to the films. So if you look at number 2, the second film, it's kind of got horror themes to it. It's very dark, and a lot of it's because the budget of the film was ridiculously low. But it is very dark. It's shot that way with intent. So we have a pitch black mutator, which, Chaz, we should just turn that back on. I think, right? Pitch black. We turned it off because we were just concerned about something prior to .8. But yeah, Chaz will just turn that back on. Pitch black was meant to kind of echo those themes, and so forth. In Planet X11, you notice it's in the darkness of the tunnels, and we got much more plans to add a little bit more of that into the game where it makes sense. But it's never going to be a horror first-person shooter or anything in that line. That's against our vision for the game. But yeah,
They're already plenty scary as it is.
yeah. But Pitch Black, if not, it'll probably be turned on relatively short term. We can actually control that. And Chaz, we can control that via server, right?
Yeah, no, it's going in, and we're gonna turn it back on. But I'm gonna give you rewards for going through it. It's not just gonna be Pitch Black is on. Screw you. It's gonna be like you're going into Pitch Black, and you're gonna get extra XP. There's gonna be other things going on, so it's gonna be more under my control instead of random. That's the plan.
Nice.
And I would say Hive Hunt as well is kind of a good indication of the level of horror we would get to. Like the music stings and the moments in Hive Hunt, I think, kind of do bring across a little bit more of the horror, the close combat and stuff like that.
And that was a lot of the intent between Hive Hunt, really getting in your face in tight corridors against the bug. And we will continue, to explore those themes.
I've been seeing a lot of questions about like plans for future content. Today we actually released like a new update roadmap. There's someone asking, are there any plans for a few more weapons before 1.0?
So
perhaps we can touch on the roadmap.
Generally touch on the roadmap. So a new roadmap was put out. So, the roadmap has been a contentious topic internally in the studio, especially since I took over the game. It's like it went first out and it threw everything at a wall and said, this is all our ideas we want to do for the life of the product. Really, to be honest with you, not a lot of actual thought outside of these are cool ideas. So when I came on board, we brought in new people, and like Chaz, one of the first persons we brought in, an industry vet in game design, and we started looking at it. And so we refined the roadmap in the second iteration I had it, but I still found it kind of too unwieldy, and really could be conceived as something that we're just putting those things out there just to excite people, but really no solid plan in place for a lot of those things. So if you read the letter today, first thing is nothing has been removed from all those crazy ideas. I literally have a wall called Pete's Crazy Ideas. Like, it's literally sits behind me. Like, those are there. We're going to get to that eventually. But I want the roadmap to be more realistic in terms of when you can expect to see things. And so in the third quarter of this year, near the end, we will update the roadmap, and you'll see what's going to be planned for around the first quarter of 2025. So you'll start seeing it, and then we'll update quarter by quarter, and then it's kind of more realistic and more within, you can start seeing when these cool things are going to come on board, stuff like that. So things as like, flying bugs and mechs and all that kind of stuff, those are coming to the game. I maintain to forever that flying bugs and mechs will be in the game, hopefully in 2025. That's the goal. But with the roadmap releases and updates, you'll start seeing actually the time frames that they'll drop, and then we're more confident in that because we know we can deliver it by that time. So that's the true intent of this new focus on the way we're doing our roadmaps.
It's exciting.
And I think there was a question about new weapons before 1.0, and another question about .9. There is, I can let you know right now, there is no .9 in our schedule. This summer is going to be filled with small updates we're going to do to the game with hot fixes, patches that are just really focused on quick things that we can safely do while we're trying to get our game through the certification process and going gold and get ready to ship out to customers. We're going .8, the Carnage update. That's the big content update. And then this summer we're working internally on our console and our live version of our game in October, and that will be the 1.0 version of our game. So there'll be small updates, like small tiny hotfix patches throughout the summer that we can safely do without jeopardizing our road to console and our road to our day one launch. And our day one launch is priming up to be a doozy. So more to come on that in late August. We'll be sharing a lot more details on that, like Galactic War, our what may or may not still be called Galactic War, but it's going to be our Galactic War. It's going to be our company system, our solo missions. More news coming on that and other things through the summer.
Well, it's good you mentioned Galactic War. There's a lot of questions about. Is there any more?
Does anybody want to
details
know
share
a high
on it?
level? That's why I put Chaz. I told him, I said, Chaz, might as well do like give him a little tease on what you think about Galactic War, what your intent is for Galactic War. Anybody want to hear it, or you just want us to move on to something else?
Oh, no,
Say
you don't
yes
like
in the
that.
chat if you want Chaz to give a kind of a high level, like he's pitching you or he's pitching somebody on what he thinks Galactic War is.
I
guess nobody else. So we'll move on to another question. If people say yes, we'll come back to it. Okay.
Oh, they're coming in now.
There's not enough. We need at least 50 yeses.
Oh boy. Oh, we got a rocket ship. Do you have a good recipe that you could share?
Yeah. There's a question on controllers. One thing I want to last add on that. There is in our next hot fix that we're going out with, hopefully in a few weeks, it's going to have a fix to the sensitivity slider on and the y-axis slider. So I can tell you that now, and a few other little fixes that we want to do and stuff like that. So that I can let you know that that's part of the next little update to the game. All right, we got enough yeses. Chaz, you want to give him a little thoughts on what you think of what you plan for in Galactic War?
Sure. So Galactic War as a concept is like ongoing in our game. It'll just be forever. That this war against the bugs is going to be ongoing. But I want to create a balance between the sort of the feeling that it's always there and the feeling that there's high stakes and there's this this story that we can tell in this universe that adds to the lore of the Starship Troopers world. And that's the kind of main intent with Galactic War, as well as I want to be in Rico's Roughnecks. Like, I want to run a squad like Rico's Roughnecks, and I want those things to be kind of linked together. So Rico's Roughnecks as a company can go forth and fight for a specific campaign in the Galactic War, which will be a limited time event where essentially the storyline is told and the players' companies join together and fight in a campaign. And that's about as high level as I'll leave it.
Yeah.
But it's a baseline for what we want to do going forward to kind of keep telling stories in this universe and keep growing and growing the game. So I don't want people to think of it as the be all and end all. It is the foundation for a lot of other things that are going to happen.
And so there's a great question about Helldivers War. Really, it's in name only, to be honest with you. So the war is omnipresent; it's always going on. These campaigns are narrative driven in a way, and really up to the community to get success in it. And if they can fail, and they might never get rewarded, and might never have an opportunity to run that again. That's like there's consequences to ours. So yeah, more to come later on in the summer as we get into August, but we'll be on kind of revealing a lot more around the intent, and Chaz puts it really good. It's just the beginning. Like, just because you run one campaign, not all campaigns will like have that same thing. It'll be different, right? So that's the goal for it. But the company system is something also that when we do release 1.0, it's there, but we're going to grow it and make that system more rewarding also, and have different options and cool things associated with it also. 1.0 is just really just the beginning of our game. It's going to be huge, but we got some cool shit coming. I can tell you that right now, that I'm super excited about, that really kind of drives our game forward, which is really nice.
Be a good time to team up with everybody. I think it's just so much we want to reveal, but not yet.
Yeah, keep me on here long enough, I'll tell you all the secrets.
Oh boy, I guess
but half of it's lies anyway. So what are you gonna do?
a hard cutoff is on the way. Let's see.
Did we
What
get
else?
a minigun guardian?
Yeah.
Oh boy, minigun. Yep. Miniguns are cool. I don't know if it's gonna be on a guardian, but I love the idea of a minigun. Chaz, you love the idea of a minigun?
Yes, please.
All I say is, like, my team, they ask for cool shit, and I tend to say, hey, let's do it.
Let's see. Any questions from the chat that we could pull from? Oh, there was a lot of questions about hopper bugs. We've answered.
Oh, flying bugs.
Yeah.
100%. Like I said, 100%. We're gonna put them in the game. Cannot reveal if we're working on any of it right now, but yeah, hopper bugs are something we want in our game. I can make this. I don't mind repeating this over and over again, but if you see a bug in the movies, the first movie, the second movie, third movie, our intent is to put those bugs into the game and add our own bugs. And how we do it, we have to make sure it makes sense. The gameplay is rewarding. It's tied to something we want to do. But I can pretty much guarantee, as long as I'm here and Chaz is here, that's our goal. So, like, we want the hopper, we want the scorpion, we want the brain bug, we want the chariot bug, we want them all, the control bug, and a bunch of our own little bugs too, right? But
tankers?
those, I can guarantee you, will make an appearance in our game.
Someone mentioned tankers.
Did I say tanker?
I don't think maybe skipped it.
Nobody wants a tanker bug.
Yeah. Gotta make shove 50 yeses again.
Yeah.
I guess,
but you just can't put those bugs in without really cool gameplay moments, and some bugs deserve a bigger stage, right, Chaz? Like,
100%. Yeah, it's something that you don't want to just. Yeah, it deserves work and effort and production value.
Yeah, 100%, right? Like we could easily put a 50 different variants of a drone bug in, but that's not exciting, right? Like we need to do it right. Oh yeah, plasma bug, 100%. Like, that's an iconic bug. Yeah, 100%. So like I said, I can't say it enough. If you've seen the weapon or if you've seen the bug in the movies, we'll try our best and get that into our game in the years to come.
I guess to expand on that, I've seeing a lot of questions about current systems we have like in our game, and as well as systems that we've implemented, things like new game modes or Carnage or weak points. Is there anything that you guys could share on things that might be coming to those, whether any changes to Carnage or yeah, future game modes we could share?
I can only say that all our modes are under active review, and how they're presented to the player. This is more of a long-term effort. One of the things we suffer from as a game is, and we were just recently talking about it as a design group, is we have so many cool, exciting missions in our game that a small percentage of people get to experience. So how do we bring those more to the forefront, like escorting specialists, tear downs, rescue squads? How do we bring more of that and those to people? And it's less about modes, it's more about exposing more of those cool things and adding a lot more cool things into the game and doing different things on our maps that could surprise people. So that's where we're working on. It's less about new modes or new difficulties or things like that. It's more interesting ways to play the game and adding new things for troopers to do during their mission select, when they're actually selecting what they want to do as a player. So a lot more to come on that, but I can tell you that all those things are definitely under review right now.
Speaking of a system, someone mentioned for Carnage, are we
Okay,
planning
I just
to
want to add
introduce
to
bodies?
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead,
no,
Chaz.
go ahead.
add to that quickly. Just going back to like Pitch Black and what we're talking about, like the ability for me and the other designers to like choose where it goes is critical, because I think there's a lot of content in our game that is just hidden by randomness. So that is very much in the forefront of our minds. There's a lot more content that you guys haven't seen that is in the game. So
Yeah.
that's coming, and that's going to be, part of the ongoing effort as designers, is to put more cool shit that is already in the game in front of you.
Yeah, and make it like have consequences too, right? Like we have so many side missions that if you can just ignore, I think someone's mentioned you can ignore it. That's not through intent. The intent was never to be for them to ignore, but we should offer rewarding consequences if you don't do them, right? If you don't do, like, I'm just throwing this out there, if you don't do a bunch of side missions, maybe you just fail your mission. Federation stops. Like you're done. We're not even going to rescue you. You're done. Like you don't even listen to us. Like we're telling you to go and do these things as the Federation. Like you're breach of duty. Then that's just an idea, right? That could happen or may happen or things like that. But it's just interesting things to do and getting players doing things more cooperatively, which is one thing we should be very proud of in our game. And I know I am, and the community is that when it gets tough, people band together in our game. And I've never seen healers treated with so much reverence as they are in our game. I'm like, having good healers and engineers on your game is paramount to certain victory conditions, and we want more of that in our game, because it's really cool when you're down the battlefield and you're not down very long because someone risked their life to come and rescue you, whether it's a healer or another, or a bastion, dropping I internally call it a playpen that they sit in, but dropping their walls, and that's really cool. So we want to continue to encourage that behavior in our game, but we need to showcase more of the cool stuff in our game.
I think medics are actually the most popular role in our Discord, by a long shot.
Which is so weird, right? It's like, medics and tank are never usually the most popular. Everybody wants to be DPS.
Gotta break the pattern.
For sure.
There was something regarding systems that I brought before, Chaz mentioned. It was regarding Carnage. It currently applies to bugs, but are we looking to apply it to anything else, or anything we could share regarding that?
Pete, do you want to field that one?
Yeah. So we're exploring other things that but the only other thing to apply it to is humans, right? Your trooper.
It's more of a it's a very technical, like, programmery thing that we've again, and this is something I've said before. It's like it's a wild new world of things that are going on with Carnage, and so I'm going to be very conservative with it until
Yeah.
we really know exactly what's going on, like for performance reasons, but also for gameplay reasons. Like if we just threw it in there and said like it's great, like it would have been frustrating, right? Like, so there's a very delicate balance of what we're doing when we do something that's never been done before.
It's funny too. Somebody just brought up, will we ever get a cameraman class? We were talking about that before we started. It's like,
I saw that too.
think about it though when you ask that question, right? On the battlefield, the cameraman doesn't have a weapon. I don't think he has a weapon. I never see a weapon. But like in our games, everybody's combat. Everybody's doing something in combat, right? But they also have their primary roles. We want to do something around FedNet, whether it's a cameraman or something. FedNet's a huge part of the whole film franchise, but really comes into play, during Trader on Mars, where the young cadets are really, and the young team is trying to get on FedNet and all that kind of stuff. So there will be opportunities in the future for us to explore that. A class, just don't know if that's an appropriate thing to do with that role, but you never know. But a
Actually,
bard class, yeah. But we got other ideas for bard classes, so. But you never know.
on top of our classes, there was also a question Discord just in general, like whether you could share how many classes we're planning to add or how we're looking to expand within the
I can tell you
classes.
right now, definitely one next year.
Oh,
Yeah, but we're going to be expanding existing classes next year too, right? Again, like we want to do everything. We just can't do everything all at once. So we have to prioritize certain things over another. But I can tell you that we want to expand our classes at least 5 levels. And we're working on ideas for that right now. And then obviously we already have preliminary ideas on a new class that we want to add into. But everything's got to have its place in our game. And Chaz can speak a little bit about that because that's the design philosophy of our game. We have to stay true to that.
Yeah, I can't just give you stuff to obliterate bugs and not even the playing field. Like I can't just make the game like super easy with like an OP class. I've got to make sure that everything is balanced and changing and dynamic and stuff like that. So yeah, like there's a time and place for that type of stuff, and that is when you kind of, as we sort of change things and add features and change things again, like there'll be new opportunities. So Carnage may be involved in what the new class ability might be, right? Like it might be something where you're interacting with these dead troopers that are scattered around the battlefield, right? Like we could do lots of different things with those ideas. So it's about when and where you want to change something and change the dynamics of the game and change the feeling of how it plays out. Plus, as you said before, like if you see it in the movie, we want to put it in the game, but it still has to be a game. It still has to make sense and be fun and be importantly for me is something that we can inject a lot of love into and make great and have a place, right? So the way we design our
Yeah.
classes is very deliberate, and each class has to have a very specific role that they are good at, and that players can anticipate that they are going to be good at. Like if I select a sniper, I want to be good at sniping things. So yeah, if we create a new class and that class is kind of middle of the roady, then that's not a good use of our time.
Yeah, like just to add to that, it's no good for anybody if we just add a class for the sake of adding a class and nobody plays it. Like, we want to look at all our existing class, and we already know that, I think somebody mentioned the Guardian. Our Guardian is our least played class right now. And we're trying to figure out why, because it's the class that changed the least. Its archetype used to be the Bastion, right? And the Guardian inherited pretty much almost one for one a lot of those attributes. So our goal is to make sure all the existing classes feel right, have really cool things to do in a role, and then that new class has to complement that, not take away from that, but also stand out on its own. So there's a lot of thought that goes into that process.
I guess to continue on just the class train, we had a question from Discord from like Flux OP. It was specifically about the ability to edit classes as you play through a match, being able to change classes.
That's a question that come up quite a bit, actually, is the ability to swap your class during a mission, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something we're I wouldn't say looking at like immediately, but there could be some cool things we can do around that realm, around base building and stuff like that, but it's not in the immediate future. But we do understand there's a desire to swap classes mid-mission. The loadout system is one system that allows you max flexibility. If you do re-enlistment enough, you can have a bunch of different loadouts. So like I personally have 3 different demolishers set up in my game, because depending on if I'm playing ARC versus AAS versus Horde versus Hive Hunt, I have a different demolisher I take in to I'm like min-maxing. So, but that doesn't solve the point where if I get into a mission, and I personally feel that sometimes I went in with the medic and I'm like, oh shit, there's 4 medics. I'm not going to get a chance to get any XP here. They're going to be, because they're probably better at medic than I am. So maybe I would like the opportunity to switch out to one of my demolisher classes. My goal is to have 10 demolisher classes eventually. But but yes,
yeah, we have to be careful about making our choices going into the map meaningful. And if you guys screw up and you pick too many medics, like you screwed up. But I will say that the ability to change something about your loadout in going into the game as something that you can do or be rewarded for, maybe I should say, is something I'm thinking about very, very deeply, because yeah, it does suck if you're in the wrong team environment, but you know, those are the choices you made. So I don't want to cheapen those choices. But I will say that, you know, if you were to do the right side mission and, you know, it rewards you with a medic kit or a demolisher kit or something like that, that would be something we would consider.
Yeah. And I
But
think
it
that's
would be a
more
reward
rewarding.
for risk. It would not
Yeah.
just be like, just change whatever, like it's all chaos. Like it wouldn't be like that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
approach we're taking.
Deepa Joe in the chat said switching the roles would make the game too easy. And then I can't even, Alpha Red JLR mentioned Kid Guardians get a fireproof perk, which I want to lead you to a question from the Discord was, are there any new utilities or perks being tested or planned? Is there something you could speak on that?
Planned, yes. Yep. We have a bunch that that's a part of when we do the extension of the class progression tree. Those will be added in. But again, we're taking our time. We're making sure that these are not just frivolous. We want to make sure they have real impact on each of the classes. So
It's making them all unique in their own special way, making your efforts matter. I see some questions talking about this. It's how do you guys feel about sort of a training range or a simulator type program where you can practice against bugs now that we introduce like weak points and stuff?
I don't know if I want to practice against bugs, because why not just go shoot the real thing and do your duty as a trooper in the Federation? That's BS if you just want to go practice and not do it for real. We got enough bugs for real out there. Though, I don't know. Sounds like something cool to do in a company, maybe? I don't know. Chaz, what's your thoughts on that?
Kind of agree. It would be a lot of work to do something where thematically you're part of a war, you're on the front lines of the war, you're the Deep Space Vanguard. Like you're not really training in a way, but yeah, it's interesting. Nothing planned on my end for that kind of stuff. But if it fit with something that we were doing in the next year or so, I could definitely see us doing something like that. Like if we were to do something like how to put this? If we were to do like extensions of certain like single player activities or something like that, I could see those being interesting, and then like adding a lot of complexity to a certain class would be something that we would be like, okay, we need to train you to do this. It would be like an extension of the Deep Space Vanguard. You know, it'd be like if you have access to this new technology, we need to train you with. That would be the thing that it would come to mind as something that we would put into the game. But it's very niche. It's very much like you would put it in the game and only a certain percentage of players would ever play it. So it's a tricky one, but yeah, it's possibility is what I would say.
You did mention single player. That is something shipping with 1.0.
Solo missions.
Yeah, the solo experience, and this was part of our roadmap as well. I don't
Yep.
know if there's anything you would like to touch on now, or you'd
I
like to
can
save
just
for
say
later.
this. It's not don't go into expecting this Halo or Gears of War campaign with these massive cutscenes. That's never been something we talked about ever doing. It's an opportunity for you as a trooper to land in the universe, spend time with General Rico, do missions that allows you to become a better trooper and eventually be able to achieve something. And yeah, and really teach you a lot about the game that the actual building tutorial really doesn't do. But also do it in a way that you're grounded in the universe and that this is not a one and done thing. And yeah, I'm not sharing anything else about it. It's it's our own take on solo experience. So I'm excited not only with what we're doing for like this sortie, this kind of mission set, and then already knowing where the second sortie is going to be. Sortie. We still haven't decided what we're calling these. We're still got to figure that out, to be honest with you. But the season 2 of this is going to go for example. We already know that. That's going to be really cool. And then we've got multiple other things that we're going to bring to it and build on it year over year is our goal. So that players can have a lot of fun in there. That's our goal of it. So yeah, more to come in probably September-ish when we're going to share a lot more. Of course, our beta group will probably get to experience it a little bit early. I don't know if they want to get the spoiler on it yet, but we'll see.
They're begging for more to test, but we'll see.
Yes.
It's you didn't
And
mention
also, can
General
I
Rico.
say something
Oh,
here, though? I want
yeah,
a
go ahead.
massive shout out to our beta testing group that we have. They were responsible for .8. Big part of that responsibility of .8 going out as good as it went out. They helped us so much in providing valuable feedback to us, working with us. Like we had many nights I was in there. I'm probably like a little bit too much to be honest with you, but I was in there and they were giving us really good information, bugs, feedback, and it was just a sensational experience for everyone on my team that were involved, to the point where devs were saying, Pete, can I come in? Can I come in? I need a code. I want to get in, talk. I want to get in and hang out. It was great. And they're going to be the first ones we give our Galactic War to, and they're going to be getting it in a little bit. I don't know when the exact time frame is, but it's going to be, definitely within the next month. They're going to get it, hopefully. And but yeah, they're just an amazing group. And I know Astraea, you've been working your butt off getting people access to it and working through a lot of the pain points we had. We may expand that group a little bit, but it's been amazing having that group there.
Oh, you mentioned it's going to come soon. They're going to start screaming.
Oh, I mean, soon to me is like a month, 6 weeks. And there's a legitimate reason why they're not getting it. Hey, Chaz doesn't want them to have it yet. And B is, so just give you, like, I'll pull the covers off. So we're in the middle of trying to get our game ready to go into what we call first party certification. That's a huge deal, right? We've never done that before. Well, I have, and Chaz has done it, but the team for the most part has not really done that before. So our goal is in the next 4 to 6 weeks is go through that process, come out on the other side with a build that is certified through Sony and Microsoft. That's a huge effort for us. Once that's done, then we free up our server capacity to be able to put the current version of day one over into that realm so that our beta group can play on it. But until those certification happens, we can't make that switch. And that is the brass tacks. And that's why. So internally, we're playing around with it and we're testing it, but we really need load. We need more people on it. So that's for the beta group out there. That's the answer why.
It's going to be a fun time when they get their hands on it. I expect excitement.
How will you get 1.0 done in such a short? I'm just reading that comment. To be honest with you, we've been working on 1.0 for a while now. Chaz has actually been working with his subset of developers, working on that for a while now, while the other set of developers have been working on the 8.0 and the console stuff. I'm moving my arms, but you can't see it. But I'm like, they're moving on that. So yeah, so they've been in tandem dual development right now. That's how games are made. A live game that's already live in early access and that you're trying to get out for 1.0, that's how you do it. You have a dual development going on.
We have plans, and we're gonna work on them. There's a few questions just from the chat that I think we could just get through. Is there any news on the Hero of the Federation difficulty?
Chaz, throwing that one to you, because I can tell you my answer on
it. It's something I'm holding in my back pocket for when it's going to be the most impactful, I would say. Yeah. So nothing on it yet, but I will say that, going into eventual Galactic War campaigns, I would say there's possibility there as well for Hero of the Federation difficulty. But I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. I want to give you guys rewards that are better than XP. And I don't want to just add difficulty and then be like, there's more XP. Like, I want to give you guys something that's meaningful. Like, I want to give you weapon mods. I want to give you customization options. I want to give you like meaningful rewards that give you choice in the game, as opposed to just progression. Right? That's the brass tacks from my point of view. And yeah, we could add it and then add the rewards later. That is one way of doing it, but we're not going to be early access anymore. Like, we are going to be a fully released game, so it wouldn't be something that we add and fix later.
I did want to loop back a little bit when we were talking about single player. With the point update, we also announced the solo experience. Part of that was also the addition of Casper Van Dien. That was something that was very exciting for the community. I don't know if there's any details you could share there, just behind the scenes. There was a few questions on like, what was it like? Just anything really regarding in the process.
Well, I've been talking with Casper since October of last year, and just trying to work out like what we thought his involvement could be, what we wanted him to do, and then it just made sense for him to be a huge part of the game for us. But behind the scenes, working with Casper, he's amazing. Like the energy that man has, and the level of professionalism he has, and how he can whip up an audience and get them into a frenzy is amazing. And we're very lucky to have our partnership with him. And it was just so exciting just to see him work a room at IGN and just take over conversations just by his presence. It was pretty fun. And he genuinely loves the community of Starship Troopers, loves the whole franchise, has nothing but great things to say about all of his involvement, and I think he's super proud of his involvement in our game. Unsolicited, like he talks about just some of the cool moments he's had at our studio, and the fact that the dialogue that was written for him, which I'm extremely proud of, and was really nervous when I wrote it, like that he shared that with the writers of the first film, and he said they would be really proud of it, and they liked it, and that he's done more lines in our solo experiences than he did in his films, like for Troopers. So, but overall, like he's been great. Chaz, I'm sure you got more to add on that.
I don't think I would have survived the press without Casper.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, Casper, you go.
Yeah,
especially on the last day, they wanted Casper, and they said we don't have room for Chaz and I, and I'm like, oh, thank God, we're good. Grab a beer.
Yeah, it was good. A lovely person, like, and you hear that from everyone who deals with celebrities, and you're like, oh, they're lovely. I'm like, this guy he's a joy. He's a real sound bloke, as an English guy would put it. Like, nothing but good things to say about him, and yeah, really helped me out. Like, he did like a whole the IGN thing. It was my first time doing anything like this on camera, and then the then everything he was doing was like just pumping us up, and just trying to remove the worry and I remember him saying like, whatever happens, right? And I'm like, okay, well, like let's go, and the crowd in that place, I don't know if it came up on stream, but they were just screaming the entire time, and it was like, it was very daunting. And that was Casper just his energy rose to the occasion, and he got us all in a huddle and was just like, just started saying stuff about the Marines and stuff like that, and started saying like, this is what the Marines do, and just helping us out. And it was magical. Plus we got to hang out with him like afterwards, and we go to the bar, have something to eat, and he would just chat like a regular person, tell stories, and nothing but great things to say about it. And if I had my way, like everything we did would involve Casper in some way. Right?
Yeah.
Like everything we do going into the future, if I could put him more into the game, I would. It's
Like
it's a
even
great,
other games
great
our
way.
studio makes, I'm like, hey, can we get Casper in that one
Yeah,
too?
put him in that one.
His enthusiasm was very infectious when trying to tell everybody to be patient for the stream that day.
Yeah, because it was
what a
like
secret to keep.
yeah, it was live delayed, right? So
Yeah. But when that last voice line hit for the trailer, it was quite a time. I suppose we can answer some of these quick questions.
there's a question on this one I can answer about solo experience. How will class loadouts come into play with solo experience? So the goal between solo experience is you're playing as any class of your player character you want to play. So if you want to run one of the solo missions as a sniper, you can. If you go in and you want to run it as a guardian on mission 2, you can. If you want to go in and run mission 23 as a ranger, you can. The goal is to be able to play all of those based on any class you have loadouts for, and then be rewarded accordingly for that. Yep.
I suppose as we talk about loadouts again, this was a pretty popular question just from the community, was how do we plan on any sort of increased freedom of movement when it comes to equipment and utility, such as picking up ammo from like fallen troopers, or like taking their weapons?
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to when we sort of talked about like changing a loadout mid match would be, the kind of rationality would be going to like a bunch of dead troopers and scavenging things, but that would be like a reward in the game, or an ability, or something that you're actively doing. It's not just something that we'd throw it in.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll get through some of these more Discord related questions that was asked. This one's from Loop. Some games add a photo spectator theater mode too late in a game's life. Is this a planned feature to help with content creation?
Not at this time. We have some bigger priority things to work on right now. But again, never say never to those types of things.
From Snow Meow, with the recent update, hotfix, we introduced Warrior Ambush to a lot of the modes. They were curious if they would be adding more ambush events, such as a Royal Guard ambush, or...
I want every bug to do an ambush. I honestly do. And to be fair and transparent, the reason Warrior Ambush is in there is on all things except for Horde and Highband. That's how our game should be playing all the time. We have a spawning issue that's deep down in the logic core of spawning, and that system was created long before any of the current team got on the game. So we're deep into investigating why we have some spawning issues around base defense. I mean, we can cover it with some lore and saying, why would during you're built this beautiful base that's easily defendable, why would the bugs attack you? They're waiting for you to go out in the open. But essentially what's happening, there's some spawning things there that we are deeply investigating on why they're not spawning. It showed up with Dot 8. But to combat that, the Warrior Ambush is something I know Chaz said that shouldn't be a mutator. That is our game. And so that will be the base of our game. That will happen. Now Chaz is deep in figuring out what other cool ambushes we could do. But yeah, that's the skinny on it.
A
Yep,
bombardier
it's
ambush.
100%. It's
That's
it's just yeah, it's something where I'm like more bugs, more.
Yep. And
all
we've
the time, more.
updated. To be fair, we've updated the max number of bugs on screen right now. No, like people I think have noticed it, but not really noticed it. So in .8, there's 20% more bugs on screen all the time, and that was we were able to do that through all of our performance gains that we've been working on. But like you said, we want more bugs, more bugs, more bugs, and I want a bombardier ambush. Like if I could just have one mission where all I see is Timbits hitting me everywhere, and that would be awesome. I don't think everybody else would enjoy that so much. I don't know. Nobody's crying for gunner ambushes though, because like those are devastating.
plasma grenadiers and gunners are
The gunners are my arch
existence.
nemesis in game. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
getting hit. Who's killed? And I'm dead. And I look around. There's like 5 gunners just taking me down. And I'm like, revenge will be mine.
There's a question about, are we going to get any more additional rewards for re-enlistment?
100%. Yep. Yep. The reward is re-enlistment was always meant to be that elder path for people, the committed who really want a mid-max like me, right? I want to have every option a game has available for me to have my custom loadout, but there's going to be more added to that, and that's what Chaz has been alluding to. It's more than just XP. We want to reward you in a meaningful way, whether it's cosmetics or unlocks or other things across all of the things you do. We want to be introducing that because, we're emerging out of early access in the next 4 months. Like we want to make sure our systems are rewarding for all the different types of players going in, and re-enlistment is one of them. Same as mastery. I think mastery is one of the coolest features we've put in our game. But you notice when we first put it out, that it wasn't filled out, but we told everybody we will fill it out. And guess what? Our combat designers got and figured out a way to get different ammo types, and we're not done. That mastery track will be filled out with cool things. And that's the beauty of the mastery system. Like, it gives you that sandboxy freedom to build your weapons your way. And it's less about adding new weapons to the game. Because new weapons could be just new weapons. You could have 50 different machine guns. They're just 50 different machine guns. But if you have like 2 or 3 that you can make them different and unique and couple that with your loadout, that's the versatility and the true power of mastery. And we may add mastery to other things. We were very transparent about that. We want mastery to be, I'd love to have mastery on grenades. Like, that's been talked about significantly at work. So you heard it here first. You can mark that down.
Yeah.
Chaz is just going, oh man, now I got to design something.
A quick question from Weston was, do we have a plan to disable hit markers?
What, you don't like weak points? Turning off hit markers? That'd be crazy hardcore, right, Chaz?
Yeah. It kind of goes to this whole like I want to turn off the whole HUD type of thing. I would it's a common question, and I'm always like, I don't know why, but I get it. I get you want to be immersed. You want to add to that. No plans at this time, because it is going to be much more of a part of the game going forward, and as the difficulty rises, I think you need that information, or most players will need that information. So maybe at some point, being like, if you will give the option to turn it off or change it up, I think could be a possibility, but no plans right now. It's a kind of key part of the combat balance, so I want to make sure that we're honoring that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you guys see any questions you want to tackle, or maybe one I haven't asked. Is there something you want to address?
Any plans for advanced AI behavior? Then he goes like picking up players that are alone or whatever that brings more. I don't understand that combination of questions, but yes, we are looking into our own AI behaviors and making sure. I know Chaz has spent a lot of time in just really focusing in on what we need to improve there. For you don't know, Chaz comes from a programming background also, so it's been very beneficial in his approach to design. And I too come from a programming and design background. But yeah, AI is something that we've prioritized on our game. Both just like Trooper AI, Bug AI, the whole works. That's
Thinking
definitely one
bug,
I can
I
answer.
find the whole concept offensive. So no.
Question for Chaz. There you go. Chaz, you want to read that out, Astraea?
Once the spawn issues are fixed, will you be rebalancing the modifiers? Some of the modifiers are a little overpowering at times. This is from Mike Hyatt.
Anytime we change anything, we rebalance.
Yeah.
Especially a spawning system, you can imagine A, how many bugs are in our game, B, like how many variations of teams there are in our game, and variations of loadout, and variations, and randomness, right? So one of the things they want to ease up on is the randomness of these spawning systems. It doesn't mean that you're going to play the same level over and over again with the same combination of bugs. It's not going to be like that, but it just is going to be more crafted. Let's put it that way. So it won't be like, I don't know what bugs are going to be. I'm going to be saying things like, I know that at this phase of the mission, there's going to be, 60% warriors and 40%, grenadiers. That there'll be this kind of crafted push and pull design instead of what's currently is designed. It's designed for maximum randomness and maximum variation. So easing that back and giving designers more control, but without sacrificing replayability.
So this one has been from the community. It's regarding experience gain and losing it mid-game.
Yes. That is my biggest topic that we're going to solve. I am committed to solving that if a player loses connection through no fault of their own, we want to have a way they can recover their XP. So that's on the roadmap. That's something, our internal technical roadmap, that we're going to solve. But if a player chooses to quit a mission, that's different. They choose to give up in the fight. So that would not necessarily get your XP, because that could be trolley too behavior, right? Go and get enough XP, quit, you leave your troopers behind. But yes, for disconnects, we are working on a system that will allow people to retain the XP gained up into the disconnect point. 100%. Because I'm frustrated by that too. Again, though, but the way our servers are set up, it's, if you're in on peak times, your server and your server connections are really good, and we have the data to back that up. But we do, because of server populations, we do bounce people off of their nearest server with the lowest ping. That, when we get a bigger population in our game, will not happen. And we haven't decided yet if we're going to lock servers then. Like, so if you're US West, you're US West, things like that. That's probably not the route we're going to go. But that could be if we get, we have that population where we want it to be. But a lot more discussions on the server stuff that'll be coming as we go. But right now, when playing in your regions, the ping and latency is quite good. Now, a lot of things you may experience on the servers, we're working on internally, and we own that, like CPU load versus GPU load on the server, memory, and things like that. So we're working on those internally as performance and optimization. We've gotten those really at really solid numbers right now, but there's still work to do there.
I hope see some people being so excited. You love to hear it from Mike. I'm going to field one more question to Chaz, and then I'm going to shift to a new thing we're going to do. But the question to Chaz might apply is, now that ammo types are in the game, will the standard and slug split shotgun be made into one gun?
No, I don't think so. I think we would just adapt it. I don't want to take away the variation. So I get what you mean, but I would rather adapt the guns further. And that's probably the plan with modding going forward, is trying to get a little bit more variation in the spread of the weaponry. It's TBD though. So yeah, no plans right now to change those, but yeah, I want to keep my shotguns. I don't want to merge them into one.
Yeah, so there's the pump, there's the auto, there's the pump slug, the auto slug, and there's the beads, right? The pellet gun, right? So yeah, I think we're more focused on that and the underbarrel attachments. Those are things that'll be coming short term. There's one question here that I saw I was going to answer, but I'm not sure where it's at now.
I mean, if you have one, I will transition to
any
something.
plans on improving melee? Yes, we're having internal talks about classes perhaps having unique melee things, and they can have their own mastery. Absolutely, 100%. I think it's just common sense, right? We introduced the shovel with the engineer. How freaking cool is that, right? Like, you know, that's really cool and great for digging corpses, because like they can just get rid of corpses quicker. So if you didn't know that,
Yeah, that would be that'd be something that, you know, we want to look at melee as something that's going to be like that's a huge risk reward opportunity as well. Like getting up and close with a personal with a bug. What can we do to incentivize that behavior and make it so that you're up close and personal? And you know, once we have all these other toys, then we can definitely reassess what we're doing with that, and that would be a, you know, more of a bigger thing that we would do, and that would be something that we put a lot of time and effort into.
Yeah. Someone Links is saying, yeah, underbarrel attachments, 100%. Yep. Sooner than later, they'll be in the game. I can guarantee it. We just need to sort out some combat things, and I don't want to speak for R&D, but I know he's working on it. And the last one on skyboxes, we are learning as we go. The original Velaka skybox is well over 3 years old. We will update skyboxes as we go, and whether we do certain things will depend on whether we have the time to do it.
But we want everything. Just the time.
Yeah, it's just a matter of whether we have time.
I suppose as people dig into that, I've done a little bit of transition.
Just ignored the whole thing.
If you have questions you want to answer as we go through it, you can. I have the front lines up. So for the community, you may have noticed there's the front lines channel in the Discord. If you have anything cool you want to share, it's just you putting it in there, and we could showcase your creations to the stream, to the community. Right now on screen you see pixel art by the Seal. It's been making some pretty cool creations, from our class logos to the Chihong grenade launcher. If there's any quick questions, I see one about mod support. That's the one. Is there
mods for our game?
Yeah, that's something you want to talk about as I showcase our frontline troopers.
No. I think from the beginning, our game is not that game that does modding in it. We emerged, our game emerged from, you know, a mod on squad back in the day. Well, our game's going to be out for a long while. I never say never to anything. The same as the question around dedicated servers, right? Player hosted servers and stuff like that. Currently, no, we have our own servers, right? But you never know down the line what happens in that space.
For Chaz, I suppose, this was from Kruger that asked, how game-changing do you think underbarrel attachments could be?
You mean if I design them wrong? It could just break the entire game, make everything super easy. Like, yes,
epic.
I'm gonna do it. No one can stop me. Yeah, it would be something that we would introduce, and then we would have a associated power increase on the bug side. You know, there'd be a reason to use it, and there would be there would be a deep and meaningful strategy around like when are you going to use this thing and what the cost of it is going to be. So yeah, it's part of the job is thinking through those things and not breaking the game. So yeah, it's I could talk for hours about it, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. It's something that it takes much longer than you think to do this kind of stuff, and hence, you know, games take a long time to make, especially if they're 16 players.
I'll answer this question. Any new structures coming, maybe ladder or bridge for an engineer? So part of the when we update the engineer, update all the classes, part of those things will be new, interesting, cool things for them to do, but also refining some of their abilities, right? Like we internally talking just a little bit about the engineer and the finickiness about using a special ability and not being kind of it's time based. Like maybe we're looking, maybe it's resource based, so you can have it out based on a number of resources, all those types of things. But like I think people would appreciate a bridge if you play a lot on Agni. But we also want to make sure that each class again has something that's meaningful when we update them with new interesting things, and again updating just the when things unlock on their track too. It's important for us, and the beauty of being in early access and being able to test this since it went out in March, we've gotten so much feedback and analytic data on when people are unlocking things, how they're unlocking things, how they're using it, and things like that. But yeah.
I saw someone asking if Carnage was in the game. If you look at the
Oh,
image on
yes.
screen, yeah, it's very much in the game. I suppose there's one question here. I suppose I could feel to Chaz is, how do you feel about HP bars to turn on and off?
It's kind of going back to the turning off the HUD kind of question.
Yeah.
So I want to take a balance between something that's cinematic and something that is just vital information for the player. And yeah, it's a tough one. Like, we are an IP based game, and I want you to be as immersed as possible. But I also want to say that, like, we are like, we are also very aware that things can very easily turn into bullet sponges, and the feeling of that is really difficult. So we want to make sure that we have all the feedback possible to make sure that the bugs can animate to show different states, or they can give feedback in various ways without using UI where possible. But sometimes, especially in a complex mini boss type of situation, then there will have to be UI telling the players what's going on, and that's the reason why games have these things. But yeah, we want to do it in such a way as to be as minimally as intrusive as possible. And if you really want to like turn it off for your own experience, then we'll investigate that. But for the right now, it's like just making sure that the player has valid feedback is the primary priority.
Makes sense. So we have reached the end of our time for this stream. I don't know if you guys have one final quick question you'd like to answer. You can go ahead, both of you. If not, we will begin to say our goodbyes. PMO, do you have any one you want to answer? Chaz, I don't know if you see anything that's I haven't brought up that you'd like to answer.
I'm just looking at the cheeseburger or pizza. Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't really eat either. But I can eat a hamburger and cheeseless pizza. So yeah.
I did not expect that to be the final question.
Oh no, well why not, right? Any plans to make any refinements to extract? Yeah, so any system you see in the game, anything we currently do, there is plans to take another pass at it if it needs some more love. It all just becomes a priority call, an actual, weigh it against new versus existing. And in .8, like I think the numbers like we in that build was well over 130 legacy bugs were fixed in .8, and we're continuing to do that this summer. We'll continually go and look at legacy issues and try to get those in a ramp up to the big deal that's happening in October. So yeah, any system, anything that we currently have, it's on the plans to do that.
Well, I suppose that's a good question to end on. I know there's still questions being asked. I'm sorry.
I'll do one more.
Oh,
I'll do one more.
Okay. Are we doing? We're doing this again?
The
okay, we'll do one.
flamethrower. Yes.
Do one more.
The flamethrower. It's in a lot of discussions in the office also.
We'll do one more. Go ahead.
That's a challenging one. Very challenging because it's not only tied to, hey, do we make it more damage? Do we give it longer range? Do we do all that? But also comes on a particle SFX FX concern also, right? Because if you extend the range, you're going to extend the effects. What trickle down effects do all those things have performance wise? But yes, I think right now the flamethrower is in a really good place if you're behind walls. And if you're using your engineering class and you're dropping walls, you've got some deterrence out front, and you're top of wall on top of rocks. Does a really good job at that. Where it probably falls down a bit, in my opinion, is when you're in the open field and there's nothing in between you and the horde of bugs. That's where we're looking at. It's like, what options can we do there to help out the engineer class especially? So, yep.
Well, there we go.
Dev gameplay stream. I'm playing all the time, Mike. Like, I'm literally OWI PMO in game.
I could answer that one. Okay, that's gonna be the final one for me. Dev gameplay stream when it's in the works. I'm actively figuring it out, and I hope to play with some of you.
If you get on my team, you better be good, or you're gonna get called out. Trust me, I have no problem calling out if you're bad at the game.
Yeah, with Rico, who knows? Maybe in the future.
Yeah, we gotta go because Astraea only wants us on there for an hour. Like, I could talk for hours.
Gotta keep the schedule in line. I'm sorry to all the troopers asking
questions. It's all
questions.
Astraea's fault. Blame him.
Oh no, spare me. But I appreciate everybody coming out to ask questions. If we didn't get to your question, we plan on doing these monthly, so we hope you guys can tune in for the next one.
Yep. See you in August, right?
Yeah. Sometimes if you ask just in the Discord or in our spaces, we'll pop in and answer it as well.
I have one last thing. Who do you want to hear from on my team? So, like, Chaz, I wrangled him in here, and he's gonna chew me out for this afterwards because he's so busy. But I really like to get our combat designer in. So, and I know he'll probably come in, and our metagame designer. So maybe in August we plan to have R&D and the other guy. I just don't remember his handle.
Jet.
I don't want to say his real name.
Oh, he
What's his handle?
That's his handle.
Anyway, but yes, I just don't want to give up his real name. That's all.
It's his alias, so it works.
It's alias, yes. Our metagame. They would love to come in because they're really proactive in the community. So, bye.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye.